Interval songs are a commonly taught way for musicians to learn to hear musical intervals. The idea is that these songs give you a way to hear each of the different intervals. And of course, music is made of notes, and the distances between notes are intervals. So to play by ear or compose without an instrument, you should learn to hear your intervals and think intervallically. Or at least that's what they used to teach. And this is partially true. You may have practiced singing and recognizing intervals one at a time, and you may have gotten very successful at it. But you might also have noticed a disconnect when you go to play your instrument. You might also have noticed that when you listen to music, it's possible, quite easily actually, to get lost in all those tones. You might hear an interval here and there, but that's not going to tell you what notes in the scale they are, and that's what you need to play your instrument. In today's video, you're going to learn how to elevate those interval songs to highly useful models, tools that help you improve in more things than just naming intervals out of the blue. In fact, by the end of this video, you will not only have internalized today's focus interval of a perfect fourth, but you will also come away with an improved ability to imagine music, which is an important part of pre-hearing, and an awareness of the sound of the perfect fourth in its 7 different incarnations in the major scale. You'll also get 7 practices you can do with any piece of music to improve your ear and make music making easier. Check the description below for a link to a downloadable guide to all we cover. I'm Hans at tuneindigo.com. Let's get started. The old school way to develop your ears was to learn and practice isolated intervals. We'd practice singing and recognizing them outside of a musical context, and doing this definitely helps your ear, but it doesn't give you a direct path to applying your ear to real music. Now what we do is practice singing and decoding melodies and harmonic patterns with an understanding that these are all embedded in real music, and we use solfège to reinforce and express our musical understanding musically. The old school way of interval training did include real music, though. These so-called interval songs, where you would associate an interval with a particular melody, on the surface seems great, right? You can always check to see if an interval, like, say, the perfect fourth, sounds like the interval song you've memorized. But you can't listen to music that way. When you are listening to a piece of music, that you are listening to that piece of music, not all these reference ones, and it's made of dozens or hundreds of intervals. Recent research clearly establishes that an awareness of the sound feeling of each note in a scale is far more effective at helping musicians play by ear and pre-hear what we play. So, on the one hand, we have listening, where you track intervals one at a time and you try to figure out what notes you heard. Of course, a real challenge in this is that you have to hear each note compared to the note before it. But by the time you hear a note, the one before it is gone. On the other hand, we have listening, where you have developed an almost instinctual awareness of the sound feeling of each note in the scale and a second-nature recognition of patterns that include that note. Let's get you started in the right direction. Anytime I hear someone enumerate all the interval songs, they always seem to start with "Here Comes the Bride," also known as the Bridal March by Richard Wagner from his opera Lohengrin. It begins with an ascending perfect fourth. As you probably know, it starts out sounding like this. Here comes the bride, all dressed in white, sweetly, serenely, in soft glowing light, lovely to see, marching to thee, sweet love united for eternity. So cool. Now you know what a fourth sounds like. But if you were playing this song by ear, you would need to know where in the scale that fourth falls, which fourth it is. It's not just any perfect fourth, it's a really important one, from so to do, from the 5th note of the scale leaping to the tonic or first note. Singing the tune in solfège gives you bonuses like you might uncover and internalize other instances of the same interval. You will reinforce all the scale steps expressed in the tune, and you will discover other patterns and more. Here comes the bride in solfège. So do do do, so re ti do, so do fa fa mi re do ti do re. So do do do, so re ti do. So do mi do la re mi do. You might have noticed a familiar bass line there. It is another common perfect fourth interval song, Under Pressure by Queen and David Bowie. I put that there to give you another reference for the perfect fourth. Notice that it goes down. It is a descending interval. With this melody under your belt, here are 7 practices you can use right away to get the most improvement from your efforts with a model song. You can do these with any song, and before you know it, you're going to notice these patterns and tones just popping right out. We'll start by singing through the melody and seek instances of the focus interval. Let's sing Here Comes the Bride in solfège. So, do, 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 so, re, ti, do. So, do, fa, fa, mi, re, do, ti, do, re. So, do, 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 so, re, ti, do. So, do, mi, do, la, re, mi, do. So we ask ourselves, are there any other instances of the fourth? Da, 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 da. If you listen carefully and play it back in your mind, you might notice so, do, 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 and then so, re, not a fourth, da, da. But then in this third phrase, so, do, fa, fa. So we have do, fa, fa. That's another fourth. So we've got so, do, and do, fa, which is a great gateway to learning to sing all the fourths, which we'll get to in a second. 2, let's sing through the melody and notice other patterns that you may know already. So, do, do, do. Now, I don't know where you're starting from, but in these videos that I've made, we've covered the tonic triad. And of course, in Holistic Ear Training, the course, you will work on the tonic triad as well as the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, the stepwise pattern that permeates a lot of music. So we think so, do, 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 so, re, ti, do. Now, re, ti, do is a pattern you'll hear a lot. So, do, mi, so, do, mi, so. That is our tonic triad. It's our 1 chord. And that's known everywhere, so you want to be able to sing that, recognize that for sure. Do, mi, so. You get it from the same song. So, do, mi, mi, do. So we've got the tonic triad going up and down. So, mi, do, la. There's another one. An approach to la by Skip. La, do, la, a.k.a. a minor third. Do, la. Re, mi, do. Of course, it ends with re, mi, do, as many songs do, which is a variation of the mi, re, do. So we've gotten our ear into this melody. 3rd, you can audiate and imagine the melodies. You can vary the speed, rewind, and fast forward in your mind. So let's do it together. You can slow that down, you can speed it up, and every time you imagine music, you sharpen your musical imagination, and you reinforce the habit of pre-hearing. 4th, you can sing in solfège from memory, and we've been doing this, so you know how that goes. You can also create variations of the model, which is your gateway to personal style. So, as an example of changing the rhythm, we could think do, 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 do. You can just take those beginnings of the phrase and hold it. Do, 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 do. There you go. See, happy birthday, dear. That's a familiar song. So we just uncovered another connection to other songs because we're untangling, we're imagining in our mind. You can, of course, take this and loop it. So do 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 do. The more you mess around, the more you make it yours. And the more you make it yours, the longer it'll last in your mind. Sixth, you can sequence fragments up and down through the scale. Now, this is like the crowning achievement. So we start with so, do, 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 la, re, re, re. You can take that shape and move it up the scale. So, do, 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 la, re, 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 ti, mi, 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 do, fa, 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 re, so, 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 mi, la, 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 fa, ti, 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 so, do, do, do. And then you can do it down. Let's say we go down using the under pressure perfect fourth. Do, 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 so, ti, 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 fa, la, 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 mi, so, 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 re, fa, 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 do, mi, 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 ti, re, 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 la, do, 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 so, do, do. Finally, you can seek melodic patterns that you know in other music that you listen to as you listen, and this expands your musical neural network. So we did it actually by accident just now when we heard the Happy Birthday song hidden inside Here Comes the Bride. Now, this happens all the time in all the music. There are still commonly heard patterns, and you're going to find that you just grab onto these almost effortlessly. If you want a free PDF so you can keep working on this stuff, just click the link in the description and it shall be yours. I hope you found this helpful, and if you're curious about applying these methods to your personal repertoire, head on over to tuneindigo.com for more resources and drop a question, comment, or request below. Maybe I'll answer your question with another video, but I'll definitely answer your question. This is Hans Indigo Spencer. Thanks for listening.